Hi everyone, this is Sonesh Tandel. I am working with Axelerant for 2 years now as a senior software engineer. My primary skills are React.js, React Native. I've been working with a lot of web applications and website development, and also have the backend experience in Node.js. We received this project for actually code review. The client came up with a code base, and it was developed by some other company, and it wasn't working well. So we did the estimates for the time it would take for code review. But later on, the client decided, let's not do the code review. Instead, use that time to directly fix the code. The idea, this was the problem the client faced. She wanted a platform where she can collect or add content at one place. For example, as a person, I want to make some collections for technical articles. I may find technical articles on several websites, right? So I can just go to that particular website and I can use share option and share that particular item into this particular app. Suppose I'm also using Instagram. I see one of the reel which has some technical content. I can share into this app, and everything comes at one place, and we can really sort it into the particular folder structure, I would say. So it's like sorts and sortlets. So I can have a sort like technical articles, and under that I can have subsorts like React, JS, or backend, and in that the items will get sort accordingly. And we have a feature like AI sort. You don't have to manually move particular item into your sortlets. You just have to basically just press one button, AI sort, and it will sort all the items into your respective folder structure. That was the idea. So she tried to put it into this as a app, a utility app. And also she added a flavor of social media, like user can also share their sorts with other, and others can collaborate. Yeah, and then we started with the code fixes, but it was very difficult. The code was not well maintained, it wasn't developed. Even the small change would take a lot of hours. I would say it's more of a like a kind of a prototype kind of a project, and it was treated as a live production ready project. Like for example, like say like it has like list of users, or say list of like how Instagram has the post. So in the app, it was like simply get all the post and filter it on the client side. Say if you have 10,000 posts, it would get all the 10,000 records on your phone, and it will filter your post only. So that kind of code it was. We decided that this code needs complete refactoring. But again, like there was a time constraint as well. So instead of creating a new repository and then building everything new, we decided to refactor in module wise. It took a good amount of time. We completed that refactoring. We shared the UAT builds with the client, and it was tested, and we then moved the app for app review, and there we faced Apple review rejections. I would have taken a good amount of time to do the proper planning, how the code structure will be, how I will organize my code like component wise, and then there's the navigation and also the state management. So in the existing code, the state management was not handled properly. It did use concept called context, but it wasn't used the way it was supposed to be. We would have used like proper way of coding, it would have followed. In terms of design, yes, like uh, it was built by client itself. Like the design were given by the client. If it was in our hand, we could have used our like design team to review the designs and make those changes which aligns with the Apple guidelines or Android guidelines. So yeah, so these things we would have done differently. Yeah, for review, Apple review, it was more of like following the Apple guidelines. So yeah, when I come to like Apple guidelines, like we got a rejection with a feedback saying the icons of Google sign in, like we have Google sign in or Apple sign in. The icons were not in a proper way. They were not looking like a button. Secondly, we got uh, feedback saying there was some missing like links like privacy policy and terms and condition. The content was missing some mandatory links that was highlighted. The major feedback was the user generated content. So this app has user generated content, like user can basically create sort like kind of create items, and user can basically view profiles. You can comment on particular item. So this is all user generated content. So when it comes to user generated content, we need to basically restrict if the user posts some objectionable content. So that was something major was missing in our app. So we worked on reporting content flow. Suppose user has added a comment, I can report that particular content, and that will go in the admin panel, and the admin can remove that content or hide that content from the app. So yeah, it was the major feedback we received, which we had to work on it. So the very first thing, this particular project used Firebase functions and Firebase Firestore. Firestore is a database for of Firebase. We can query directly from the client. In traditional way, what we have is we have a front end, we have a back end. If I want to say login from front end, user will login, the API will get called. In the API, that is a back end. So back end will query the database, and it will give the response, and then back end will give as a response to the front end. So when it comes to Firestore, its functionality is we can directly query from the front end. We don't need a backend for it. So if someone is starting app development and he has no kind of a backend knowledge, they can directly use this Firestore and they can store data directly from the app. But it has its I would say limitations, or yeah, I would say limitations. And like we cannot do search query, we cannot do advanced search query. Say there is a list of users and I need to search my name, I'll have to type in my name starting with Sonesh. So it will give everything starting with Sonesh. But if I want to search by my surname like Tandel, then it won't give me that result, because we cannot do advanced search using Firestore. That was the limitation we faced. So that is one thing. Second problem faced is security wise. When it comes to security, user can directly add or delete data from the database. That is something very dangerous. Someone can basically access database directly from the client. That is something is we shouldn't allow. So Firebase does has something called as Firestore rules. We have to mention the rules like this particular collection user can only read and write if has authentication token. So that kind of rules we added. But still, if we restrict everything, we cannot query anything from the app. So that kind of a issue we faced in this particular project. The tech stack was React Native and Firebase Firestore. But at certain point, we did face issues. It would have been better if we would have proper backend setup instead of directly client calling the backend. Also, there is a separation of concern issue occurs, like everything on the app side. Suppose there was an issue with the app calling something from the database, and now we fix the app side code, but we cannot deploy it directly. We'll have to go through that Apple review or Play Store review cycle. If it was separation of concern, like completely separate backend, that control was would have been in our hand completely. Yeah, I would like to share two things which we worked on this particular project. There was a functionality where user can basically share something into the app. Suppose I'm on the Safari browser or Chrome browser, I found particular link. There's an option like share, right? And then when we click on share, we get a pop-up saying where you want to share. You can copy or you get a list of apps. So share functionality is like we basically show our app in that particular share sheet. When one user clicks on it, it opens the app, and it has that content in the clipboard, so that content can be used in the app. So that is the share functionality. So so in this particular app, client wanted this to be very quick. Instead of opening the main app, what if we just do it on the fly? Share, it will show the app. If you click on that app, it will just show like small pop-up, and you can basically like, and it will basically add that particular item into the sort and done. So that share into functionality was very difficult to implement. A reason was we are using React Native, and in order to uh, handle this functionality, we had to implement something called Android intent on the Android side and share extension on the iOS side. We had to find a good third-party library which had good support, but all the libraries were old and they were not maintained well. So we picked one of the library and we had to do a lot of changes and make that functionality working. And a lot of native code changes were made in this particular functionality to make it work. So that was one thing. And Secondly was handling security, backend security basically. Like the database was open, like client can directly query the database. So we had to write a very strict rules so user cannot, access uh, data of any other user basically. So yeah, these 2 points, yeah, were like, yeah, we worked on it. Yeah.